Melvin Farmer, OG Melvin, Big Mel. Welcome to Bomb First again. Or welcome
Hey,
back, I
what's
guess we
up?
should
Bomb
say.
on first? Yeah, bomb first. We always popular. What's up, Reg? What we got going
Not
on,
much.
man?
Man, I just I've been talking to you on back and forth on Texas and stuff like that. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a show and let Melvin come on and talk and give us all of this game. I saw
Yes, sir.
and I don't know if John found it, but I saw something where uh that fool Charleston White, your friend, the guy you brought to LA and all of that, said something about he ain't never did no checking in. And I said, well, I
Uh-huh.
could have sworn I saw a video where Melvin Farmer, and he said that he'd be checking in. Tell me about that, Melvin.
That was about that's when he was going up under Nate Turner. And he came out here and came up to St. Andrews Park. And you seen the video where he said, yeah, I come in to check in with Melvin Farmer. He the only one that don't glorify gangs, and I had to meet him and stuff like that. So that's when he came. But like I say, a lot of people, this is a state where you don't this is not an open carry state. And people have the wrong misconceptions about being out here until you get here. Then it's a difference, and you can't adjust to that when you're in a state where you can open carry, you got to stand your grounds right and all that. Now you got to come to a state where you check your guns in, actually, when you come to this state. So many get up in trouble.
You
So
talking
with
about
him,
California? You talking about the state of California,
Cal-
right?
the state of California, we're not an open carry state, and that's very important. You can't come to this state. Law enforcement can't protect you in the clubs. Nobody. So you always got to gravitate towards the streets and those that, I'm sorry to say, do scrupulous things without gun control. That's just how it is. You know how they go, Reggie. So
Yeah.
that's when I met him. And then he was there. You seen another video? He talk about how he got the Nipsey Hustle. He never knew about Nipsey Hustle until he got into the going home at the what was that? The forum. I got him in there. I came in there with it was me,
It was
gang.
actually the Staples Centers at the time.
Yeah,
It's
that's what it was. The
yeah,
Staples Center.
yeah. It's called something else now.
Crypto
Crypto.com.
Arena, but at that
Yeah.
time it was Staples Center. In fact, I was there with Black Sam when they all walked in. That was me standing right there. Game was on the side. Then I went back there. You know, Cap that works with Farrakhan that died recently in
Yeah, yeah.
Chicago. So
Shaheed Muhammad, Captain Muhammad.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Then I went back there with them on the side. So that wasn't true about that. All that stuff about them dudes was talking this. He was there at LA Gangs Unite. So all that's a facade, and it's
So
no big thing. We doing what we doing.
what made you get on him? What made you start talking about this lately? What you had heard him say something recent that pissed you off, or you
No,
just
I
thought
ain't
about it?
never, like I said, well, no, I'm not even tripping that. We doing what we doing. But he opened his mouth, ran his mouth. He's a fake. He ain't doing nothing for the community. And he talked disrespectful to blacks and about guys he met through me. And he didn't lie on them. So that put me in a position to where, it is what it is. It's between me and him you know. We'll cross paths and he can do what he do. Either he gonna bow down and say I was lying or else we got a problem. It's simple as that, Red. Simple as that.
Got you. So I noticed you've been going to trial and been working with Lil Durk family. What's up with that?
Well, I got I'm a credible messenger where we are connected all across every 7 continents or however many continents. And I
It's
work
only
with
seven.
credible
It's only
messenger.
seven. It's only
Well,
seven.
that's how I don't know, but that's how many we located on. And uh he's, I guess, from what I've been told and talked to through the communications, is a member of Credible Messengers I mess with out of New York. By the way, you have members like King Tone of the Latin King. He's a credible CM3. Antonio Tesla from the Luciano Gambino crime family. Jr. His father is a Gemini killer, 51 murders for the Luciano family. He's a member, in particular, by Shear. That's who I'm in contact with, where they had picked a I man from here to where they wanted me to arrange through its father and family for them to go down there from Los Angeles to check on his spiritual and health and mental health and well-being. So I went down to the federal building. In fact, the day after I went to court at Big U arraignment, we was down there for Little Dirt uh, because he wasn't also, because he's a Muslim, he wasn't getting all of the rights afforded to him in there. So we also made sure that he was getting his food and everything because that was during the ending of Ramadan. So that's
Gotcha.
how that went. And his father also supports Put the Guns Down, the World Epidemic, that we produced a movie where quite a few of them, their sons are in there for senseless gun violence. And they're showing their support to older ones that, regardless of the outcome of the trials or whatever, they still don't condone violence in any way. And that's another thing I want to touch on, Reg, is the our documentary is a cause-driven film where we touch on the aftermath, not only just the suspect, as Lil Dirt, Big U, and other ones, but also the family members, the victims, the mothers, the fathers, and the witnesses and stuff like that, along with mental health. So it's very important that they support this documentary that'll be premiering May the 7th on Peacock, Apple TV, Amazon, and it's one more. I can't remember, but it's May 7th for the release.
And say the name again.
Put the Guns Down, a World Epidemic, written, directed, and produced by Terry C. Carney. Ice T is the executive producer. It's a minute and hour and 37-minute film. We won 53 awards, film festival awards, Cannes Film Festival, and so forth, Monterey, and so forth. And it's being well received. And we also go to the schools with a panel of victims, parents, and stuff that have lost their loved ones also. So that starts May the 7th on the premiere of that. But it's been 5 years that we started this project and just now come to fruition.
Oh, okay. I noticed you must have a great relationship with Ice T because I remember you worked on that show for Ice T with when he did it with
Critical Concept, that was Don Skorowski who had introduced Nipsey Hussle and Big U to the game. He does the those documentaries. That's one of the tops, and we had worked together on Fox. Yeah, you talking about when we did the Who Killed Nipsey Hussle, Biggie Small Fox special right after Nipsey. Yeah, but I knew Ice T where we worked on another project called We All in the Same Game. When I was a member of Grand Jury Records, when it was Ice T, MC Hammer, Michelet, Jewel, Tone Loc, Above the Law, Trey 57, Digital Underground, Humpty, Young MC, Dr. Dre did the beat. So I had a relationship, and I went to school with Ice T. Went to Crenshaw also when I was attending Crenshaw when he came out here. So I got a long history with Ice T. Ice T, most of them on the West Side. I got a history with them. I watched their career through Michael Concepcion. That's Henry Lamar's uncle and Top
uh,
Dog Entertainment. Mhm.
yeah. Tell us some stories about Michael Concepcion. A lot of people don't know about him, and I know you as real. You worked with Michael Concepcion for a long time back in the day.
Yeah, well, Michael Concepcion, actually, me and Michael Concepcion had started off together in the ninth grade. Well, he was at Henry Clay. I was at Horace Mann checking in for Bret Hart the eighth grade when I met Michael Concepcion. And at that time, he was walking before later on in life he would end up getting paralyzed. But at the age of 15, Michael Concepcion, Barefoot Pookie, Lavelle Frost, and Philip McCain, They all were arrested. 3 of them were convicted of murder of killing Douglas Green, a rival gang member. That's when we were 15. That happened June of 1972. So at 15, Michael Concepcion had been convicted of murder. In fact, it's the mayor of Inglewood's, Mayor Butts' brother. And it's ironic that Mayor Butts will have 50 Cent, Crip Walker, Snoop, and everybody that's representing gangs. But when we were 15, he was talking to us about what happened to his brother. So then Michael went and did a couple of years after that conviction, and all of them did a couple of years, got out, and then Michael started doing his thing, hustling in the streets. Then he got shot, and that's when the game changed. Michael went from that, and also his mother died of cancer. So one day we'd sitting around and say, "Mel," me, him, hot dog. That ended up being Half Ounce father, that the rapper that was slain out of Inglewood Bloods in the Koreatown, same time PNB Brock. That's his father later on in life, but back then he wasn't even born, the
Yeah.
young man. And so Mike said, "Mel,
Wait a minute, hold on.
don't get
So you said
hmm?
PNB Rock is from out here? His
no
family?
P No, PNB Brockhead got killed at the same time that Half Ounce got killed. That's the murder
Okay,
that
that's what you
happened in
said. Gotcha.
Koreatown.
Okay.
So, but that hot dog who was there would be Half Ounce father later on in life. He wasn't even born then. This early in the game. When we
Gotcha.
thinking of going into the record business. In fact, it was Michael's idea, and he say, "Mel, I got an
Come and
idea,
pick me
man."
up. He said, "Come and pick me up and put me on your back."
No, we had been doing that even before that happened. When Mike didn't have no wheelchair or nothing, and he was going out, we would carry Mike on our back when he didn't have all that he had now. I was with
Yeah.
Mike where I don't have his nuts hanging on my back, where he had like a backpack on my back. Me, him, Steve. That's how deep
I'm
we go
making a
with it.
joke. I was just making a joke. I was just
Oh
fucking with you,
no, no,
man.
but it's true. Then he
Yeah.
started parking lot pimping. We started going to the clubs, and he started meeting the executives up in there. And that's when he'd say, "Hey, Mel, don't get in no trouble. We gonna get into the rap game and get some money." And that's how they developed. We all in the same game. And then
Yeah.
what you call them came out with nothing but self destruction. Then after that, Mike just started blowing up. And also, a lot of people don't know Tookie was married to his sister, Michelle.
Mm,
That's his brother-in-law. He got
I
one
didn't
of the
know that.
rare pictures. Yeah, that's Tookie's brother-in-law. At the time that Tookie got arrested, he was with Michael Concepcion and they crew. So Tookie is also one of Michael's, is his brother-in-law, and quite a few of them. And then Michael started off with Teddy Riley. He worked 6 years for
Yeah.
Teddy Riley, New Jack Swing. He got Blackstreet signed, and you
One
had
of
a
the
trio that.
one of
Mm-hmm.
the biggest songs he
What?
had, one of his biggest songs that he was executive producer of was this guy named Rome that a lot of people forget
Yeah,
about.
that's
I remember.
Rome and Silky Fine, just like Romeo and Juliet. Hot sex on a
Yeah.
platter, gonna make you sweat. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had Rome. He had B2K. He had
Well, that's
MC
because of his
Hammer.
relationship with Christo. Him and Christos are still tight to this day. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Chris Stokes, Jimmy Iovine, but Teddy Riley put him in the game. Teddy Riley, after 6 years, because you had Missy Elliott, Timberland, and Magoo. They were a trio, and they wasn't
Mhm.
even known. They were in the backdrop. You had Blackstreet. You had Guy. They called Michael Ian. He made the deal in New York. And then Teddy Riley introduced him to Russell Simmons next. Then that's when he got in the game where Russell trusted him for 2 years. And then after that, he went on down the line. He met Jimmy Iovine, and when we would go to Capitol Records or something where they would meet up, Mike would always go in that room by himself. Always go in that room by
Yeah,
himself.
you
So
meant
Mike,
Interscope Records. Interscope, not
well,
Capitol, but
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
went to Capitol too. No, I don't know
Yeah.
about no. We was at Capitol too. He
Yeah, because
had a
most of his deals
hotel
were
where
done
they,
with Jimmy at Interscope. But
mm,
yeah. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, but we was meeting at Capitol with other executives too. I didn't get
Gotcha.
in that game. I didn't like
Yeah.
hip hop. I'm Rob, and that's why they told me don't get in trouble. They were
Yeah.
pimping and doing all this hustling, selling drugs, and I wasn't doing that. I didn't like the hip hop game. I didn't like selling dope. I was doing robbing shit or taking something down. And they always tell me hang out. And that's the difference. I never asked Mike for a dime, but I don't
Yeah.
seen him every step of the way to where we get it because I've been with him through thick and thin. So we hear a
Exactly.
lot of misconception about Mike. And another thing, Mike gives so much back to the community. He'll buy buildings, they burn them up or put graffiti on them. He donates scholarship. It's a lot of them that do stuff that you never really hear about. But Mike is the last man standing out of everybody from P. Diddy to Puffy. You know them all. He the last one standing. Ain't
Yeah.
no doubt about that.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Big U situation. So I know you got a lot. I know you've been talking to the family. So I know it's a lot you can't say because you don't want to betray their trust. But just tell us what your opinion is on everything with the Big U, the players in it, something about all the guys that got arrested. Just talk on that situation for us. Did we freeze up?
Yeah, you might have froze.
Okay. Mel, Fairs didn't want you talking about that. Mel?
Okay, he's about to drop. So, but he may come back in, and if he does,
Oh
then
yeah,
just
he gonna trust me. He gonna come back.
okay.
If you think I like to talk, oh my god,
He loves talking.
oh
What
my
happened,
god.
Reg?
Oh, here
All
we
right,
go.
man, go ahead. I was asking you to tell us, give us some update on the Big U situation. I know you are cool with the family and all that, so whatever you can tell us about that and give us some updates, we appreciate.
Well, I went to court at the first arraignment just to see actually what was going on. And like they had said, they hadn't really unsealed the indictment. And but I know Big U his rise since he been a young man, way back since he was 15. But I also know quite a few of his family members because they're members of our church,
Yeah,
River Life Ministry, where I'm a prison ministry coordinator there, where quite a few of Big U's family members go there, including his father, who, contrary to what I thought, had been born, raised out here, and would know things about his family, his son. But
he a
that's not the
Mississippi boy,
case.
right? Huh? He Mississippi,
He's
right?
born in Mississippi. And I say,
Yeah,
so you telling me you only been in Mississippi and you've never really been or really know nothing about none of this? He said, yes, sir. And I talked to the man 30 minutes. The matriarch, he had 40 family members there. And when you go into court, it's a pardon of the Red Sea. You've been in there, Reggie, with all the undercover police,
yeah.
all
On
white,
one
the
side, they
FBI
on one
on
side,
one side, and
and
you
the
had a
family on the
trio.
other.
You had a trio of 40 family members. None of them looked like gang members. You had an NFL player there, his son. You had Lil Draws. You had his a wife. You had family members. You had his lawyer, who, by the
I
way,
heard they
is in
all
a
were dressed in
wheelchair.
black. I heard everybody was dressed in black and holding hands and stuff, right?
No, they wasn't dressed in black, but they wasn't
Oh,
dressed in designer stuff. They were dressed. In fact, I got a few photos. I'll tell you exactly how they were dressed. Like normal kids in school, corduroys, no brand graffiti, no slogan, no designer stuff. In fact, I would say 90% of them was wearing black sold products. Nothing
yeah,
fancy. Looked like a normal family. And all his father kept saying to me was, every time he just can, he coming home. That's pretty much all he said was he coming home, and that he had. I say, you don't stay here in California, and he said, why would I stay in California? Mississippi is my home, and that's when
yeah.
I realized that. But also, I talked to their family after they had said that Big U had got in a fight and they were getting into it. I think I was talking to you, Red, when
Yeah,
WAC 100 called in while we were discussing it. And they
yeah,
said the things that you're hearing out there is misinformation as far as what's going on
correct.
uh, in the Metropolitan
I think
Detention
even
Center.
the attorney, the U.S. attorney in their brief put in there that wasn't no fight, and they were lying about a fight in there and all of that. That there was no fight or no incidents. So yeah.
Right. And they told me to tell you, don't believe all the misinformation that be going on there. But back to about Big U and dirt. I went down there one day for a little dirt where we took the I-Man. And we're still in the process of making it where he can go see as a representative of this community, make sure its well-being is right, because he only get a visit on a Sunday, whereas Big U and the other ones might not get a visit, but on Saturday, as you know. So we're trying to make it to where we can make it as
Is that
pleasurable.
his
In
audio or
fact,
ours, John?
no, that's my audio.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm. We
Okay.
just, like I was telling you, we just had a birth of a child right here on the streets where
Yeah, you
everybody
told
is
me that.
filming.
You saw childbirth, huh?
Yeah, they had a lady at the birth of a child right here on the street where she birthed it herself. And it should be on the news
Is
in a
she
minute.
homeless? Is she homeless or she was just down there
Yeah, she
visiting?
was homeless. She was down here homeless, been here. Everybody knew her. She disappeared. And everybody said, dang, she looked pregnant. And she came back and she had a baby, delivered it right here. And they just took the baby, but the baby won't go with the mother. Cute little healthy baby. Uh,
Oh,
uh, 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 a Latino woman had. And
okay.
also, speaking about Big U and speaking of Latinos, there was a person I met at the court whose husband had been arrested in Big U's case. And she didn't even know Big U, or her husband knew Big U. And they had been arrested where they allegedly supposed to have sold him weapons, and he got deported. In fact, WAC 100 talked to her, and she just had a 6 month old baby, and they deported or are deporting his father.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah, we'll give it a minute.
Yeah.
Our documentary, and we also addressing mental health or whatever you want to talk to. What else, Red?
Oh, okay. So we talked about that. We talked about Little Dirt. Shit, with the movie. That was the main thing I wanted to get you on to talk about your show that's coming on, because I know that's a big
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Well,
you got go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
anything else that you want to close up on, you can. I just want to
Oh,
get you on. I
hey,
just like
hey.
people to hear from you.
Okay, hey, Reg, let's talk about a little bit about the law, and let's talk a little bit about Gunner and that Alfred plea, because people seem to get that and won't let nobody really explain it. And I don't know, because I don't watch social media, but I know during that time they were saying that Gunner snitched. That's impossible, like I was saying on Clubhouse, to be a snitch up under Alfred plea. I'm
Well, I
up
think
under
you
that
was on
Alfred.
exposure. You was on the exposure show, but go ahead. They
Yeah,
call it the
whatever it
exposure
was.
show. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. But anyway, like I was saying, yeah, I don't know the name of it. I don't
I
watch
know
no
you don't.
social
I know you
media.
don't. I know
Mhm.
you don't.
Or
Yeah.
nothing else. So I get it from y'all. But it's very important. You can't plead and tell anything up under Alfred plea. All you're gonna do is say, yes, do you plead guilty? And what they're gonna do, they're gonna give you stipulations that's gonna hinder you from either. You can't get sued. You can't sue nobody. The defendant, you the defendant, and the plaintiff can't get no a civil suit. You can't do nothing, like in a O.J. Simpson, where he got found not guilty of the murder, but he still got sued by the plaintiff. Up on the Alfred plea, you're saying that you did not commit the crime, but because of a preponderance of evidence, where you're probably going to get found guilty anyway, even though you didn't do it, you cop out, and usually you won't go to jail. Or you're going to get something, in my case, where I had to take a 83-year sentence, or risk not being out and getting a life sentence. So it puts a lot of pressure on you, but usually that means you don't got the police in a position to where they have to offer you that, because they'll be exposed for some type of illegal activity that went on during the course of the investigation. That usually is a way out for everybody.
Gotcha.
Hmm. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Well,
so mhm,
well, go back out there and continue saving babies as you just did. Yeah, and you filmed us. You just saw the birth of a
and
child.
also,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
and also, man, we're doing a lot for the homeless to where Netflix and a lot of them filming. We're gonna be on Real Tune to where we provide the essentials, food, clothing, housing. It's a very big issue here. It's a lot of mental health. We're doing a lot of things where the Department of Justice is now investigating the homelessness and the crisis. We have the Olympics coming out. So it's a lot of violations that are occurring with people that have mental health where we are out here as advocates for those that are in these marginalized communities, not only here, but across the nation, to where we're doing the things that we can do to help them relieve some of the stress that they are going through, as well as others. So I want to thank everybody for tapping in and
Man, no,
continue
we
following
appreciate
us
you
on
and
this
all your
work.
knowledge, man. Every time I talk to you, Melvin, I learn something. You're a very, very well spoken man. And I love what you do. You're always trying to help the people. You be trying to help people in the criminal justice system and what you're always doing with helping people with the homelessness. And I got
Uh,
to tip my hat off to you and keep up the great work, Mel.
okay, and it's one more thing I'm gonna leave y'all with Big U case that you keep an eye on.
Okay.
Big U has enough information to where now you fit to see that money don't count because money couldn't bail him out. It didn't that he had money, all his assets got frozen. But this is what you have to remember. Big U was getting funding from a lot of political elected officials as well as professional athletes and other things. I know a lot that the young man been doing, what he was doing, and I know the playing field. So don't count Big U out. I don't have 2 life sentences. Not saying he won't get found guilty, but don't count him out to where he might have enough information to where he wouldn't and turned himself in too easily. You know, the catching would have had to come before the hanging with me. So I'm looking at it from another side that, there's other options than to just go and lay up in there. And I think Big U has enough information to where he might can make it talk his way up out of there or do what he
You
got to
saying he
do.
gonna snitch his way out, Melvin? Is that what you saying?
No, I'm going to say this. It ain't but 2 ways you're going to get out. Either your ass coming out in the pine box or your ass going to tell them something pertinent to get your ass where you can walk out. So they go back to what I'm saying. You fit find out. Information could be more important than money in this case, where he can walk right out with an ankle bracelet and go to the witness protection. I'm saying he got that much
Do you
power
condone?
and information.
Do you condone that
Condone what?
if
I'm
he
like
elect to
this.
take that way out?
Well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say this because it ain't gonna make no difference in my opinion. But I'm gonna just go by the rules I play by. You do the crime, you do the time. Simple
And
as
you
that.
have done that,
Now,
so you can definitely say that. Yeah,
that's what I can say.
yeah.
You do the crime, you do the time. So that speaks for itself. But also, you have to also look at it whether it's friend, family, foe, suspect, victim, or witness. Everybody has rights that need to be adhered to. Simple. Or else, how you gonna pick and choose and be a fair arbitrator? I don't look at it as a crip
What do you
blood, big you.
what do you think about the mother that's been crying on social media like she has?
Well, I ain't looked at the mother, but I've been seeing mothers cry for 50 years when you see this movie. She won't be the first, she won't be the last. So she needs to support this. Like we doing where we've been talking about the cry of a mother. Where in this video, in this film we have, you hear me say, I've been listening to the howl of a mother at that tape since really I watched Mayor Butt's mother cry in 1972. That is the first murder and I've heard them every year, every day. So I'd say condolences, and we're not condolences, but we're also bringing awareness to what about the people that nobody had nothing to do with. All of them, we're praying for them and let it happen to where it don't happen again. Let's not isolate it. The family of Big U got nothing to do with it. They family got nothing to do with it or anybody. But let's just, bring awareness to the acts of senseless gun violence. That's why we say put the guns down, a world epidemic from elementary school halls, the Senate walls, to these streets of Los Angeles and all over. Why don't we fall back and have a discussion on the aftermath before they happen, and let's try to prevent these things from happening. This is not an aberration of where this just happened. There's a whole lot of shit going on. I can name other brothers that were the Rolex bandit that were robbing and doing all that. But it also go back to this state and its attitude, Reggie. This is not an open carry state. So you can't come here or live here trying to be a solid citizen, because I'm sorry to say, when you're out here, there is no retirement, Reggie. You got people that's always at your head. Even you, that just come with the territory. So what you gonna do? Pack your ass or tuck your tail? It's simple as that, bro. Simple as that. They try to make a mountain out of molehill, but we don't hear none of them up here talking. They just talk about each other. Let's talking about what you're doing for the community, and let's see what you're doing. And a lot of them ain't doing nothing. So we're trying to get with those that are like-minded and do what we do. Simple.
Peace, Melvin. Thank you.
Peace. Later.
All right, brother.
We out.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Okay.
Peace.